Exactly.
Now, I want your thoughts on this. Should we publicly weigh people to fight obesity? 0207 862 2222 is the number. Turkey has rolled out a nationwide scheme to stop people in the streets. You can see this guy is basically being pulled in by a woman who's going to take his height and then weigh him, and then you divide the two and you get the BMI. Health workers are being tasked with measuring 10 million people by the 10th of July, and they're just grabbing people. And, I mean, this is there's not a lot of dignity there. She's gone onto his balcony. So let me tell you more. I will head over to our wall over here.
Excuse me, sir.
Oh, my goodness me.
Mobile weighing unit. We're going to pop you on it and give it a go.
This looks like the kind of thing they've got in Turkey. So I would be pulled in, and I stand on this, do I? OK. And the scale, let's just see if it will register. Oh, here we go. Oh, 23, 25.
25 stone.
Blimey.
Yeah, hop off.
That's a shock to me, though. I've got stuff in my pockets, maybe.
OK, come in.
OK.
There we go.
Thank you. Height.
OK, and...
25 stone.
I think you are thereabout 3'6".
I thought it was 6'3", but anyway, OK, 3'6".
3'6", exactly. And then we're going to whack that into the BMI calculator.
Oh, right, OK, let's see this.
Yeah, so how it works, we put your height in first.
Yeah, 3'6", right.
3'6".
And stone?
20, 25.
25 stone, OK.
Calculate it, and it works out your BMI.
I'm worried about this because I'm worried that this could be morbid. Oh,
yeah, you're obese.
Yay.
You're obese.
Where does obesity start? About 138 or? I don't think that sounds... OK.
You're well over it. You're well over.
This actually, thank you very much to our Turkish weigher. That's what they're doing over there. I tell you what's happened there is, I think what happened to a guy called Liam Thorpe. Did you hear about Liam Thorpe?
No.
At the start of COVID, his doctor said, you must come in urgently for your vaccination. He said, well, I'm a healthy young lad. I'm 29 years old. There's nothing wrong with me. They said, no, there is. Your BMI is 28,000. So he rang them up and he said, I don't know how you've got this BMI. And they said, oh, I see. What is your height? He said, 6'2". They said, we got you down to 6.2 centimetres. So that's the kind of thing that happens. The BMI stuff is weird, but maybe we need to do this, Phil.
No, this is medieval. Why don't we go the full hog then? Let's just put overweight people in the stocks and throw rotten fruit at them, Jeremy. You know, this is humiliating.
I think that's going too far.
Well, that's my point. I'm trying to be ironic.
Yeah,
you know that. This is humiliating. Yeah. It's not the way to treat people who've got a problem through no fault of their own.
Oh, please
generally.
do no fault of their own.
No fault of their own. The food companies know their foods are addictive. They're like the tobacco companies from the last century. Yeah. They knowingly sell us addictive food, and we've got half the population overweight. Big surprise. If we should be weighing the profits of the food companies and taxing them.
Well, that's a good
alternative. And use that money to help and support, not humiliate overweight
Carole, you have
people.
had your own weight loss journey, so
yes.
You speak with authority here.
Yes, I do. And
going back to the old Carole, and there was
yes, a lot of me.
More of you, 15 stone, I think you were at one point.
Yes.
I wonder if you knew that you could be pulled in by someone in a shopping mall and weighed in front of others, that might have stigmatised it.
You see, you're talking about the mindset in this country of the way they tackle obesity, which is terribly badly, not because of the reasons that Phil has said. It's because we're too scared to say to people, if you don't lose weight, you're going to die of cancers, heart attacks, stroke, diabetes, whatever. We're too scared to say that. We'd rather they die than maybe embarrass them, potentially embarrass them. In Turkey, I think they're taking their obesity problem seriously. 50% of that population is overweight, as opposed to 65% in this country. They're taking it seriously, and they're doing something about it. If you are embarrassed by the fact you are 5 or 6 or 7 stones overweight, then do something about it. We talk about obesity.
A lot of people can't, Carole. A lot of people can't.
Yes, they can. They absolutely. There's a tiny percentage of this population who because of medications or whatever, can't lose weight. But the majority, it's because they eat too much, and people actually know that.
But the food is addictive. That's what Phil says.
The food is not addictive. People
truffle chocolates are addictive.
No, they're not not
Food is
addictive. It's just because people like them and they
Fast
have no
food,
willpower.
chocolate, sweets, biscuits, it's all addictive.
You have to take
They
control.
put stuff into the food to make it addictive.
You tell me, and you've told me that you control what you eat because you like biscuits, but you will only eat so many. That is you using your
not
will
everyone
and
can
your
do that.
self-control. That is an option that is open to everybody. It's an option not everyone chooses. And I just...
Do you think this turkey thing would work? Do you think it would work here?
Well, it would never work here for the simple reason that we'd have people saying it's going to damage people's mental health. It's going
Well,
to
it
hurt
will.
them. It will not. I'll tell you what
Humiliating
damages
people
Phil,
is no way
what
for
damages
success
your mental
here.
health is being 5 or 6 stones overweight, feeling like you're not worthy.
We need to
feeling like you're
support
not
and
good enough.
encourage people to lose weight,
we've done
not
that.
humiliate
We've
them.
done that, and obesity is still rocketing.
Yeah.
There are so many initiatives in this country to help people lose weight. We've done
Well,
it.
the
and it doesn't
one
work.
thing that's changed the game is Ozempic.
Yes.
Or Wegovy or Manjaro
Yes.
or whatever the hell you call
They
this
have.
fat jab.
They have.
You've talked about, you've gone from 15 to 11 stone.
Yes.
As I understand.
Yes.
Amazing. I mean, I've seen
Yes.
magazine articles about it.
Yes, I have. And people think that, I get sick of people saying to me, it's the cheats way. No, it isn't. All it does is dull your appetite to allow you to eat properly.
Was it a revelation when you stopped eating in the old way,
Yes.
how little your body needed?
Yes, I call it the food noise. A lot of overweight people will recognise what I'm saying. You have a food noise in your head, which you're having your lunch and you're thinking, I wonder what I'll have for afternoon snacks, and I wonder what I'll have for dinner. The drug turns that off, so you're able to eat well, eat healthily, and lose weight.
You are contradicting yourself a bit here because you're
No,
telling
what?
us that the drug needs to turn that off, and you just told us it's about
Phil,
free will to stop yourself.
I spent 30,
it's not free will.
I spent
People are
30
addictive.
years on diet, losing
Yes,
weight.
and they didn't work.
They did work for periods of time.
Yeah, they
and then
didn't work fully.
And then I put weight back on again.
Yes.
But when I did lose weight, it was out of willpower and a decision to lose weight. And I get really tired
ultimately,
now
it
when
didn't work.
I hear doctors saying people living with obesity like it's a disease. It is not a disease. It's a self-imposed condition.
All right. We'd love calls on this. 0207 862 2222 is the number. I think our lines, there might be something wrong with our lines at the moment because we've not got any calls coming through.
Oh, hello. I'll just keep
Can I
talking.
just, no. I just want to ask why you're both wearing pink, actually.
We're not. No. Phil is salmon, which is like on the verge of...
This is the classic female thing where a woman sees more, women see more colours than men.
Yes.
And to me, Phil, I'm thinking Phil will be the same. The two pink, they're the same colour. It's pink and pink.
it's not.
And you're going to go salmon and pistachio or something.
He's peachy salmon.
right.
I'm just pink.
Wow.
But it's
How
a
many
fab
shades
colour.
of pink are there?
Oh, dozens. Dozens.
50 Shades of Pink.
This is another world.
But this really suits Phil, I think.
Well,
this is very good for his
At
skin
last,
colour. And
you
his
two have
tan.
said something nice to each other.
We always say something nice.
We're best
Tina
friends.
is in
It's not on
Kent.
screen.
Hello, Tina.
Hello there. Good morning,
Do you think?
Jeremy.
I don't know anything about your personal circumstances, Tina. You may be as thin as a pin. Would you support a situation where, as in Turkey, people are pulled aside in shopping malls and weighed by force?
No, not by force, but voluntarily. I'm sure people wouldn't mind being weighed. It's up to them if they if they say yes, that's okay, that's fine. But I don't think one should grasp
No.
them to one side.
Well, I mean, this
But
is they've got to do
what
10 million. And Turkey is an authoritarian state. They can basically do whatever
They're not
they want to.
forcing them. They're saying to people, "Let me weigh you." And Tina, you're right.
Apparently they are
Most
forcing them. That's
people
the
would
point of
probably
this story.
Yeah.
Most people would agree to it because it's for the good of the health of the country. What Turkey are saying is, we have a problem. If you're overweight, that equals you being sick at some point, and they're trying to do something about it. Unlike this country, where we just pat people on the head and say, "Never mind."
What do you think, Tina? Are we too accepting of overweightness?
Well, I think we are. There's many reasons, isn't there? There's so much junk food being allowed to be sold.
Yeah.
But what I really want to say, if I may, is when I was at infant school, up to the age of 11 when one left, we used to have a school doctor with the practice nurse that used to come to the school twice a year, and the children used to come in with their parents, of course, and they used to be weighed, etc., and examined. And if they were overweight or there was a problem, it used to be picked up early, which of course it isn't now, and I think they should bring that back.
Was the practice nurse herself overweight?
Not that I recall. I mean,
No,
I've
'cause
been
it's
a
often the case. I mean,
years,
But Tina's right. I remember that. You just reminded me. Our school had that as well. And that's a great idea. It's not humiliating. It's just pointing out a potential problem.
Well, we all in favour of it happening voluntarily. If people are happy with it, if the parents are there, there's no problem. If people want to be
parents have
it's
to
the
be there,
humiliation we don't like. And that's no way to... And you said, mental illness. Of course you're going to make people feel bad if you force it to happen and you humiliate them in public. That's what
Let's
I'm
go to
against.
Stephen in Devon. Stephen in Devon, hi. You are a bit overweight, Stephen?
I'm a bit overweight, yes.
Can you give us some numbers on that?
I don't think that you should weigh people, out and about. I'm overweight because I've got rheumatoid arthritis and vasculitis. Can't do a lot of exercising, and I'm steroid dependent, where steroids actually put you overweight, which is a medical condition. And I've seen a lot of people like that, and they wouldn't want to feel... I mean, it's embarrassing, to be honest with you.
No, listen, I totally understand. I talked to a guy 2 days ago who was got stuck in the turnstiles at Port Vale Football Club, and he was wedged. His fat was coming between the spokes, and he had to be removed. Had to be removed, and he actually used it almost as a way of turning his life around. But I think it's hard if you're on medication, and also if you can't move. Stephen, have you tried to restrict what you eat?
Yes, I have, yes. Yes, I've even been to try and, get a proper diet sheet and everything,
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm waiting for new medication to come, but I've been steroid dependent for 15 years because I've had to come off different medications. They're not working. And the steroids, they just put weight on you.
Steroids are really...
Steroids are a nightmare. They do.
Yeah, they give people a sort of
They're very
squirrel...
hot. They make them bloated. And
Squirrel
whatever.
face.
But you just said there, the guy who got stuck in the turnstile, he changed his life because he was embarrassed.
Do you know about this story? His name, amazing
no,
guy.
I'm
Stephen
listening to
Duffield, his name is. And he got stuck in the turnstile. He was with his nephews. He'd actually, rather like Stephen, he'd been on medication, in fact, for mental illness. So he'd even been in a psychiatric hospital. And he came out and he was just very, very, very large, 27 stone. And in a year, he lost 17 stone.
Oh, there you go. And
amazing?
he lost that because he was embarrassed in the turnstile.
Yeah.
And he did something about
Yeah.
it. So is it so? I would rather be embarrassed and live a long and healthy life than have a doctor not tell me the dangers and die of a
But people
premature
who are,
heart attack.
let's use the word fat. If you're fat, you know you're fat.
You do know you're fat.
You don't need a doctor to tell you.
No, you don't.
And so I don't know if it
need
feels
help.
right, might be right here that all it does is it makes people feel smaller, not
They
physically.
need help
I
and
said that it
support,
does
not
make you
humiliation.
feel small. And the thing is, but Phil, the health
It's not
service
working, Phil.
offers
Well,
massive
Your
help.
way isn't
Let's
working.
have more
Nothing's
of it.
working.
It's not working.
Injections are the only thing.
They are.
I'm seeing people at the moment. Half of them has disappeared.
Yes, completely.
I haven't seen someone for a year. I literally want to say, where's the other half of you gone?
And the NHS still isn't rolling
it's
it
all
out
private.
at the speed as it should. They've got something, I think over the next 5 years, they're only treating about 380,000 people. That's nothing.
No.
That's nothing considering the
Well,
millions
they're
that are
maybe going to
overweight.
end up putting it in the water, I think.